Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Overnight, Russian strike across Ukraine Friday night to Saturday morning has taken at least 6 civilians, wounded dozens, and destroyed homes, facility, and power infrastructure from Chernihiv to Zaporizhia. Another massive hit. Power grid taken down, outages in multiple regions. We are definitely seeing Russia dropping the hammer once again on Ukraine. Alright, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Guys, before I start, let me just read this verse of the day from the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12. Sin never shows up ugly. It looks like love, freedom, or opportunity until it costs you peace. Once again, Proverbs 14:12. Sin never shows up ugly. It looks like love, freedom, or opportunity until it costs you sin. It's like the devil Satan. He doesn't show up in a pitchfork and long tail and horns and stuff like that and like a boogeyman. He shows up walking around with a Bible, dressed up, cologne, speaking to you nicely. Again, deceiving you, twisting the gospel. Just like these people that call themselves prophets, but in reality they're wolves disguised in clothing of lamb. Sin shows up to you like love and everything until got you. Just like a lion when it comes and behind you, snatch you. Alright, so again, please share the video. God bless every single one of you. Happy Saturday. Another strike from Russia, taking civilians and wreck homes across Ukraine. Overnight strike left at least 6 gone and dozen wounded, hitting homes, power lines, and public facility across multiple regions. All right, let's see what's going on here, guys. So it says Chernihiv region. Russian drone strike in Chernihiv targeted repair crews, critical infrastructures, taking 2 and injuring several others. A double tap attack hit energy company vehicles responding to a fire, while the local fire brigade was also shelled, according to the Gov. Now, Donetsk region. Here's another one. These are like very important territory that's getting hit. Donetsk region. Whoops. Advertisement alert. Donetsk region. The governor reported that 2 civilians were taken out and 4 others injured in the Donetsk region. The fatality occurred in Sohivka, while the injuries were sustained in other parts of the region. These figures do not include casualties from Mariupol and Volnovakha, where the situation remains dire. Since the onset of the invasion, at least 3,678 have been out and 8,305 wounded in Donetsk Oblast, according to the state-run news agency. Here's another city, Kharkiv, another one. This is a very important city. Kharkiv governor reported that the Bear forces launched multiple drones and artillery strikes on 4 settlements in Kharkiv Oblast. As a result, 3 individuals were injured, including a 58-year-old woman and a 56-year-old man, all right, and a 33-year-old man. Additionally, a grenade explosion in Lozova injured 2 men, a 48 years old and a 40 years old and a 17 years old. Now, the strike also targeted civilian infrastructure, damaging a private house, a warehouse, and a business. Wow. Once again, multiple cities are getting hit. But infrastructure, that's the big one. These are like very important facility, schools and stuff like that, but also power grids. There's a lot of power outages going on right now. They're really turning off the light out there in Ukraine. Zaporizhia region, Zaporizhia governor reported that Russian forces conducted 679 strikes. Man, that's a lot. On 14 settlements in Zaporizhia Oblast. This is a very important territory. This is where the nuclear power plant is located. All right. And I think that nuclear power plant, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's still running on generator. There's been some outage going on in that region. So these attacks resulted in the passing of a 66 years old and a 7 in Zaporizhia. And my condolences and prayers goes out to the families and friends that lost their loved ones. An additional 11 individuals were injured in the regional center. Now, the strikes included 459 drone strikes, 11 airstrikes, and 203 artillery shellings, causing significant damage to the residential buildings, vehicles, and social infrastructures. Here's another territory, Odessa region. Last night, the enemy struck energy and civilian infrastructure in the Odessa region. Energy equipment, 2 residential buildings, and a hotel complex were damaged. Now it says here, as of Saturday morning, October 11, 2025, emergency services repairs and repair crews were working to restore electricity with critical infrastructure supplied by generators. It says here, the Odessa Regional Prosecutor's Office said that the Russian forces used strike drones in the strike, damaging several power facility, again another power grid, and leaving 44 settlements without electricity. Once again, a 47 years old woman was hospitalized with injuries. The strike follows a similar strike on October 9 that targeted the region's energy infrastructure, cutting power to more than 30,000 users. You know, when I read this, it kind of reminds me of Chicago. The only thing is, Chicago power grid is not being struck. All right. But again, you guys know that Chicago over the weekend, again, like last week, there's been like 30 people that were shot, 5 have passed away. But again, when I read this, and you know, all the people like their ages and stuff, many of them injured or a lot of them has passed. It kind of reminds me of Chicago. It just without missiles and power grid getting hit. Again, my condolences to the families and friends. We living in dark times, guys. This war is brutal. Evil is brutal. Sin is deceiving people. False prophets are rising. Again, we need to focus on Christ, put on the whole armor, and just stay focused in scriptures. That's all we need. We don't need phones and computers and stuff like that. All we need is the Word of God. We need that book, and that's the King James Version. All you got to do is focus on that. Keep that with you. All right. Constantly pray, and God will show you and teach you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding by reading His scriptures. Kherson region. In Kherson, the Russian drones and artillery fire struck the city and 16 surrounding settlements on Friday. 4 were wounded due to the bear aggression, including 1 young one. Man. One thing I tell you guys, again, young ones should not be in part of these biblical wars. The strike hit residential areas, damaging 5 private homes. Earlier in the evening, a 59 years old driver was injured when explosives were dropped from a drone onto an ambulance. What? A drone carrying an explosive device dropped. It was dropped from a drone onto an ambulance. Is Russia actually doing stuff like that? Like, I mean, going after ambulance? In Sumi region, these are very important cities, guys. In the Sumi region, the Bear drone and missile strike has injured two and damaged civilian infrastructure. Once again, the power grid. The Sumi Regional Military Administration reported Saturday morning that a 56 years old man and a 65 years old man, again, they were wounded by very powerful drones. Okay, so from the morning of October 10 to the morning of October 11, the Bear forces carried out nearly 80 shellings across 34 settlements and 11 territorial communities, with the heaviest strikes in the Sumi and Shatkar district. Wow. The strike included up to 10 CAB missiles launches, more than 10 VOG explosive drops from UAVs, and additional FPV drone strikes. Now, civilians' infrastructures was hit once again in power grid, including private homes and farm buildings in the Sumi community, a residential building and a garage in, I'm gonna skip those names. Over the past 24 hours, authorities, together with the State Emergency Service, National Police, and local organization, evacuated 39 people from the affected areas. The previous day, 3 civilians were injured in separate strike in a Sumi region. Man, it's like every night they're getting hit. They're getting hit really hard. Ooh. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The US president is currently on a phone call with Zelensky. That was posted about an hour ago, 8:34 a.m. Right now is 9:57, so I'm making this video early. But yeah, the US president is currently on a phone call with Zelensky. Zelensky is telling him, hey, we got hit. We getting hit every night. We are getting hit every night. Give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm seeing something here. Okay. There's some updates, but it's not much. Other than that, it seems like that's all of it. Also, Zelensky congratulated the U.S. president on the success of a recent Mid-East agreement and discussion strengthening Ukraine's air defense. And that's what he's been asking for from NATO and the U.S. We need air defenses. We need air defenses. We need air defenses. Here's the thing. They have great air defenses. I mean, they're taking out, again, if Russia fires 500 drones, or they launch 500 drones, again, Ukraine, excuse me, Ukraine takes out like 480. The problem is when they take those drones out, you got all those debris just falling all over the place. That's what's causing the big problem there. All right, so that's the latest breaking news. But again, right now, the U.S. commander, the U.S. president, is currently on a phone call with Zelensky. We don't know what they're discussing, possibly perhaps Tomahawk missiles or some other equipments, military package. But one thing I tell you, the bear, they dropped the hammer again. They dropped the hammer on Ukraine. Anyway, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I will keep you updated when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Make sure you highlight the verse I just read to you, the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12. You want to fill your minds with the book of Proverbs. I mean, that is amazing verse right there. That is absolutely amazing verse. Once again, sin never shows up ugly. It looks like love, freedom, or opportunity until it costs you peace. And that's how these false prophets and these false teachers and false pastors, that's how they come to you. And then they take your peace away. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Till next time later. Peace.